everybody, and Tony here with my final review here in Rome, and that is of Puccini's Tosca, which I saw at the Terme di Caracalla. The conductor was Carlo Donadillo, the production was done by Pierluigi Pizzi, the choreographer was Roberto Maria Pizzuto, the lights were handled by Vincenzo Raponi, and the chorus master was Roberto Gabbiani. And as you can tell, I also bought one of the shirts of the Teatro dell'Opera Roma to show my overall appreciation of everything they had to offer from all of these three wonderful performances which I caught. So to everyone at the Teatro dell'Opera Roma, mille grazie a voi tutti. Thank you so much for the wonderful evenings I've had with Carmen, Nabucco, and Tosca. I wish you all the best in everything you have to do. I wish you all the best for every performance, and especially all the artists and everyone with the production and the technical stuff and everyone behind everything that you do. All the best. And I just wish you a lot of wonderful moments to come. With that said, let's get on to the main review where I first talk about the production. Overall, I found it to be quite interesting because the people behind it basically transported the action of Tosca from the 1800s all the way up to, I would say, World War I, during the time of fascism headed by Benito Mussolini, which is especially evidenced in Baron Scarpia's costume, as in it looks rather dominating on him with that uniform, which is all black, and it makes him look sleek yet dangerous, and I really love it. And I could also say the same thing about the whole concept of a cathedral as a background and all of those marble settings, as if to show that Scarpia, while he is a powerful man, he also abuses that power, not only with the state, but also with the church. Whilst appearing to be an important figure in politics, he abuses that power and is basically two-faced while presenting himself to be a man of God, while he is being a man of lust, craving that type of sexual desire for Tosca and for any other woman, and basically using his power as a politician to get every single dirty desire he wants. And that's what I really love about this production. And that's what I loved about this production. Scarpia's lust for power and how he abuses it are all present in this particular production, and I thought it just made it stand out quite well. And I thought the costumes looked also elegant. Aside from Scarpia's uniform, and especially that of Spoletta's and Sharona's uniforms, I also love Tosca's set of costumes, especially what she wears in the first act and in the second act. So overall, I found the entire production, whether it be everything from the sets to the costumes, just amazing from beginning to end. And now we get to the singers, starting off with Tatiana Serian, who sang the title heroine herself, Floria Tosca. I also saw her in this particular role 3 years ago at the Deutsche Oper Berlin, and she managed to maintain her superb artistry all throughout. I have been following this particular dramatic soprano for many years, especially when she performed live at the Deutsche Oper Berlin. She not only performed Tosca, but also Aida, and she managed to give these two performances just a lot of wonderful moments, all thanks to her sturdy, steely, and wonderful, full-sounding, dramatic soprano voice, and her stage presence as Tosca was, as to be expected, magnetic from beginning to end. She was not only a glamorous figure, she was a complete singing actress, and she really knew how to inhabit the role with a lot of beauty, dignity, strength, versatility, and a lot of guts, which she did superbly. Then we also have Giorgio Berrugi, who sang the role of Mario Cavaradossi. I first heard about this tenor about a year ago when I heard him on YouTube singing with Elena Moshuk in the duet of Lucia di Lammermoor, where he sang Edgardo, and I thought that he had a superb sounding lirico spinto voice. And that was also the same impression as I heard him live. He was a superb musician and an equally dashing actor. Yes, I would have loved to have a little bit more of that incisive tone, which is evident in singers like Mario del Monaco and Franco Corelli. But I still have to give a lot of credit to Giorgio Beruggi for singing everything well with a lot of endurance, and how he was able to portray the role of Cavaradossi was that he was able to inject a lot of vivacity, a lot of passion, and just so much charisma to make him stand out quite well. Roberto Frontali was an appropriately venomous Scarpia. I've also been following this particular baritone's career for quite some time. I first heard him on YouTube singing the role of Enrico from Donizetti's Lucia di Lammermoor, which is of course one of his many signature roles, and I also have the DVD of his performance as Enrico alongside Marcelo Alvarez and Stefania Bonfadelli, and also Mirko Palazzi as Raimondo, as they performed it many years ago. And I really loved that production, and I loved his performance as Enrico. And when I saw him as Scarpia, I still love that overall venomous and viper-like bite that he has in his voice. He has a fine-sounding, reptilian, dramatic baritone voice, and he is quite well known in singing all of these villainous and anti-heroic characters, which Signore Frontali proceeds to do with such aplomb and such believability that I was practically having my eyes glued towards him. He was magnetic in roles like Scarpia, Enrico, Rigoletto, Iago, and many other ambiguous or nasty characters. Those type of characters seem to be his forte, and he managed to do it all very well, especially with tonight's performance as Scarpia. He was in total fine vocal form, and he was, as always, magnetic as a singing actor. Then we also have Francesco Milanese's superb Angelotti. And while this role is quite small, I thought that Francesco Milanese managed to do a very fine job with this particular role. While I would have loved to have a slightly fuller sounding voice with the likes of Carlo Cava and many other bassos who sang Angelotti, I still have to give a lot of credit to Francesco Milanese for a job well done. He has a dashing and overall masculine and tall presence on stage, and he managed to use his magnetic and charismatic stage presence to the best of his abilities. Domenico Colajanni was a fine sacristan, and while I would have loved to have a more rounder, richer, fuller, more cavernous basso voice, I still have to give a lot of credit to Domenico Colajanni for a job well done and how he managed to not only sing the role of the sacristan, but also act it. His voice is basically that of a comic baritone. He managed to sing his notes really well, and he was just in overall fine form without making this character go way over the top nor too wooden. He was a charismatic performer through and through. Saverio Fiore Spoletta was really cunning and finely sung, especially helped with that superb sounding light lyric tenor voice. Fabio Tinalli's Sciarrone was suitably threatening, and Alessandro Fabri's Jailer was really well sung. So overall, the singers were in absolutely wonderfully fine form from beginning to end. Everyone gave a superb performance and they just stood out really tall and strong. And the conducting done by Carlo Donadillo was well done. He managed to lead the orchestra well. He managed to do a fine job conducting the orchestra and leading the chorus, giving the right amount of tension and lightness in certain areas. And he was just an overall fine conductor. So, overall, what a way to wrap up my stay here in Rome with one of my most favorite Puccini operas of all time, Tosca. Thanks to all the singers, thanks to Pierluigi Pizzi's superb vision, and of course, the fine conducting done by Carlo Donadillo. And for those of you who caught this particular production of Puccini's Tosca at the Terme di Caracalla, what did you think of it? Did you feel like the main singers did a fine job in all of their respective roles? Did you feel like there was a singer from the minor roles who stole the show for you? Or did you feel like there were elements which didn't really hold up? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in much later this afternoon where I will be in Florence, and definitely stay tuned for a couple more reviews there. So until then, good night, everybody, and to all the wonderful people of Rome, I wish you all lots of love, and of course, buonanotte a voi tutti.